Wall Street wavers after U.S. Fed Chair Jerome Powell signals higher and faster rate hikes. A CNBC survey shows 63% of market participants are expecting another 50 basis point hike from the central bank. Indian bond yields hit a 4-month high as Powell's comments push yields higher across the world. The Indian market also sees inverted yield curve as short-term bond yields trade higher than 10-year yields on fear of tighter liquidity in the near term. Dalal Street bucks the global downtrend to end in the green for the third straight session. Sensex gains over 100 points after a choppy session. Financials lead with the gains. Banking sources tell CNBC-TV18 that the RBI is likely to extend IndusInd Bank CEO Sumant Katpalia's term by 3 years. The central bank is said to have found Katpalia's performance satisfactory and is therefore likely to favour management stability at the bank. Katpalia's current term ends on March 24th. That's an exclusive. Manik Saha takes oath as the Chief Minister of Tripura for the second time after taking the BJP past the majority mark in the assembly elections. 8 other ministers were sworn in along with Saha. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah and BJP Chief JP Nadda attended the ceremony in Agartala. Tamil Nadu police books BJP leaders and journalists for sharing fake videos alleging attacks on migrant workers from Bihar in the state. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister Stalin speaks to Bihar Chief Minister Nitish Kumar. Textile mill associations say no clashes between migrant workers and local workers. Russia's Wagner group of mercenaries claims to have taken control of eastern Bakhmut. Western officials hinted at 30,000 casualties on the Russian side in their bid to capture the city. Zelensky warns that the control of Bakhmut would lead to an open road for Russian troops to capture other cities in Ukraine.
Every day is Women's Day here at CNBC TV18. We don't just talk equity, we practice it. We have tried very hard to create an equal opportunity workplace where drive, passion, courage and commitment are all that matter. Let's come together and empower women to get a fair chance to make their own choices when it comes to health, finance and education.
Every woman's success should be an inspiration to another. We are strongest when we cheer each other on. Be the heroine of your life.
Don't let anyone or anything dim your light or dull your colors.
We're strong, we're independent, we're fearless, we're also empathetic.
So let's celebrate women as they can do it all. From running a household to running a startup.
Things not to say to a woman.
Oh, you're so lucky your husband cooks in the kitchen.
You shouldn't be wearing this outside.
When are you losing weight?
When are you getting married? Are you PMSing?
You're too funny for a girl. Are you a feminist?
Don't say this to a woman, ever.
I will urge all the men to encourage and support their daughters, their sisters, their wives and their women co-workers to help them explore their potential and achieve their dreams. So go out there and dream big. Happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day. Happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day. Happy Women's Day.
Happy Women's Day to all our viewers. Good evening and welcome to India Business Hour. I'm Archana Salanki and let's go straight to the top story tonight. Now, Wall Street is on the edge after US Fed Chair Jerome Powell signaled faster and higher rate hikes. Powell said that economic data is stronger than anticipated and interest rates are likely to remain elevated. Powell's comments have sparked fresh fears over a potential recession. A CNBC Fed survey shows 63% of market participants are now expecting a 50 basis point rate hike from the central bank. Before we go to Stavel Laisman, who has the details of the Fed survey, here are the comments from Jerome Powell that roiled the market.
The process of getting inflation back down to 2% has a long way to go and is likely to be bumpy. The latest economic data have come in stronger than expected, which suggests that the ultimate level of interest rates is likely to be higher than previously anticipated. If the totality of the data were to indicate that faster tightening is warranted, we'd be prepared to increase the pace of rate hikes. Restoring price stability will likely require that we maintain a restrictive stance of monetary policy for some time.
And he made clear that a higher funds rate is likely and that the Fed is going to stay there for some time and the Fed could possibly hike at a faster pace. Here's a look. We're calling this, Becky, the Fedometer. showing the outlook for the pace, level, and duration of hikes. We have a 63% probability of a 50-point hike. That shows the market's leaning there towards that 50. The peak funds rate now seen at 563. That is 16 basis points higher than it was before this speech. All we know about duration from Powell is he and other Fed officials have said this. They intend to remain sufficiently restrictive for some time, and we'll just update this as data come in and as Fed folks speak. So the focus on Wall Street is, what does the data have to look like for the Fed to hike 50? Is it now the default position? Well, Barclays says the bar for 50 basis point in March is now lower. Yes, that's true. They say a jobs number above 200,000 would be enough for that 50 and to raise the Fed's median projection to where the market is now, from 513 to 560 for 2023. Over at Evercore, our friend Krishna Guha says we still lean 25 because we think the next batch of data will be appreciably cooler and the Fed will apply a reasonable standard for evaluating this. So Evercore's comments, I think, emphasize what Powell made clear. The decision is not preset. It depends on the data, and that includes jobs on Friday, inflation next week, retail sales, jolts, all kinds of stuff. The question for today, does Powell see a need to walk back or soften anything he said yesterday? I think given that most important parts of the remarks were in the statement, I don't think he's got anything to walk back.
Right, Indian bond yields hit a 4-month high after US Fed Chair Jerome Powell's comments. The Indian market also saw inverted yield curve as short-term bond yields trade higher than 10 years yield on fears of tighter liquidity in the near term. Lata Venkatesh is here with more. Lata, over to you.
Today is a kind of historic day for the Indian bond market because there has been a yield inversion, not a very positive thing. Now, yield inversion means the near-term yields are higher than the longer-term yield. The 364-day T-bill yield, which was auctioned by the Reserve Bank, the yield got cut off at 7.48%, which is a 4.5-year high. The last we saw that kind of a yield on the T-bill, 364-day T-bill, was way back in November 2018. Likewise, the 10-year bond yield also shot up. It went to 7.46, which is about the highest we have seen since November of 2022. So that's a 4-month high. Now, yields have surged across the curve because of Jerome Powell's rather hawkish statements. The Fed chairman said that given the strong economic data, yields may stay higher for longer and that they may have to rise at a faster clip, which means a more than 25 basis point hike is possible. That's what the CME Fed Watch tool also is showing, that more people are veering to a 50 basis hike next time the Federal Reserve meets. For India, what it means is that more and more people are pricing in a rate hike in RBI's next meet in April. As well, there is a liquidity tightness that will come in April when RBI returns the TLTRO money. So, there will be a bit of tightness financial tightness in the market, both globally and in the domestic market. And hence, the yields in the near-term market have gone up. It doesn't really mean an inversion in India's case. It only means that there is more tightness expected in the near term than in the slightly longer term. But yes, yields are headed higher. No two ways about that.
Right, thank you, Lata, for that. Moving on to the day's market action, Indian equities showed resilience amid weak global cues. Bulls took charge towards the end of the session to recover from early weakness. Sensex gained over 100 points. Nifty ended marginally higher. Mid-caps outperformed. Banks and autos showed support while IT continues to drag. Meanwhile, shares of Adani Group continue to recover. All 10 group stocks ending the session in the green for the 6th straight day, regaining some of the lost ground since the Hindenburg report. This comes after the conglomerate prepaid more than 7,300 crore rupee loan ahead of its maturity date to release some pledged shares in its group companies. As of today, the group has added 33,000 crore rupees of market capitalization in this session, taking the overall market capitalization to nearly 9.2 lakh crore rupees. The group has added around 2.4 lakh crore rupees in the last 6 trading sessions. At its peak, the Adani market cap was more than 24 lakh crore rupees, so it remains well below those levels. Meanwhile, Axis Bank's managing director Amitabh Chaudhary called the Citibank deal a game changer for the bank. It will help the bank strengthen its position in the retail banking sector and bring more customers under its fold. Speaking to CNBC-TV18, Chaudhary said that the price paid for the acquisition was around the market valuations. He added that 97% of Citi's employees will come to the bank. That will aid in retaining Citi's talent pool.
There are a huge amount of cost benefits that can come to us through this deal because the Citibank franchise was being obviously debited with global costs, both for the corporate overhead and technology support. You mentioned the 1,500 crores as the amount of money we'll spend in transition, but once that goes away, the benefits we can get in terms of reduced costs also will feed into the overall profitability of the franchise. So we are very delighted. We are also delighted by the fact that we closed the transaction 1 month earlier than what we had anticipated. 97% of the employees have come into the fold of Access. There was obviously also a requirement for express consents across liability products. So only on the express consent of the customer, they have been migrated to Access.
The Reserve Bank is likely to extend IndusInd Bank CEO Sumant Katpalia's term by 3 years. Sources have told CNBC-TV18 that the central bank found Katpalia's performance as a CEO satisfactory and is likely to favor the management stability at the bank. A career banker with over 3 decades of experience across multinational banks, Katpalia became the IndusInd Bank's managing director and CEO in 2020. His current term ends on March 24th. IndusInd Bank was the top gainer on the Nifty today. Meanwhile, shares of Shriram Finance rose following a large block deal amounting to 3% equity worth over 1,400 crore rupees. Sources tell CNBC-TV18 that a private equity investor is the seller and institutional investors are significant buyers. Cholamandalam is keen to enter the housing space. We learn from sources that it's looking to buy controlling significant stake in Aptus Value Housing. Aptus promoter and managing director has not identified a successor in the family. That's an exclusive. Facebook's parent company Meta has planned a fresh round of job cuts. Reports suggest that the company could lay off thousands of employees as earlier as this week. Remember, the company has slashed 11,000 jobs last November and a part of its cost-cutting measure. This was the first mass layoff in the history of the company. Moving on, every year on March 8, the world celebrates the cultural, political and socio-economic achievements of women in various fields. However, we are still far from a gender-equal world and a world that is free of bias, sexism and stereotypes. This year's theme for International Women's Day is Embracing Equity. President Draupadi Murmu talks about the status of women in society in her article, Her Story, My Story, Why I Am Hopeful About Gender Justice on the day of International Women's Day. A survey by Deloitte highlights gender gap in blue-collar jobs. Shilpa Ranipeta is here with us. Shilpa, take us through the survey.
Across sectors, India Inc. has been stepping up efforts to increase women participation on India's shop floors. But despite the effort, data shows that a lot more needs to be done. Now, according to a Deloitte survey on blue-collar workforce trends covering over 100 companies, 300 plants across 15-plus industries, the male-to-female ratio in blue-collar jobs is still only 12:1. That means that there is only 1 woman per every 12 men in India's factories. And they're also making lesser money than men. On an average, women make only 0.8x of the salary of their male counterparts. Now, the gender ratio is better in the FMCG, pharma, automobile sectors, where the manufacturing processes are more automated, requiring skilled talent as compared to sectors like cement or chemicals. But why is women participation still low? Deloitte attributes this to the continued prevalence of social issues as well as lack of flexible work hours and a healthy climate. Now, take a look at these figures, for instance. Only 18% of the companies surveyed by Deloitte have female night shift blue-collar employees. And of these, only half the organizations have actually a door-to-door pickup and drop facility, and less than half have a female security guard at the plant premises in all shifts. Very few companies also have additional benefits for female workers like menstrual leave, separate changing rooms, or even a dedicated medical professional. But what is encouraging, however, is that most companies do offer basic facilities and make them available closer to the workstations of women workers. Now, this is basic infrastructure like a ladies' washroom, a gender-separate changing rooms, feeding room facilities, and more. But the glass ceiling still persists. At a global level too, only 1 in 3 managers or supervisors is currently a woman, and according to the UN, it will take another 140 years to reach gender parity and 286 years before discriminatory laws against women are done away with.
Thank you, Shilpa, for that. For now, we are heading into a short break, but when we return, on International Women's Day, we will bring you the story of Lieutenant Commander Ruchika Bhadana, who's flying high with the Indian Navy. Stay tuned, we'll be back. Welcome back. The Australian Prime Minister arrived in India for a 4-day visit today. During his visit, the first in-person India-Australia annual summit will take place. Apart from the bilateral discussions between the two countries, the Australian Prime Minister is also set to watch the first day of the 4th cricket test match between India and Australia with PM Modi in Ahmedabad tomorrow. The US Secretary of Commerce Gina Raimondo, who's in India for a 4-day visit, participated in holy festivities at Defence Minister Rajnath Singh's residence in New Delhi today. While speaking to the media, the US Commerce Secretary said it's an honor for her to be at the gathering and wished everyone happy Holi. Raimondo is in the country on an invitation by Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal and is set to attend the Indo-US Commercial Dialogue on 10th of March. Tamil Nadu police have booked BJP leaders and journalists for sharing fake videos alleging attacks on migrant workers from Bihar in the state. Now, cases have been filed against BJP's Prashant Umrao as well as Op India CEO Rahul Roshan and Op India editor Nupur Sharma. The textile mill associations have said that there have been no clashes between migrant workers and local workers. Jude Sanit is here with more on this developing story.
Tamil Nadu BJP President K. Annamalai and BJP leader Prashant Umrao have been booked by the Chennai police over inciting violence and spreading enmity between groups. This concerns videos circulated by both individuals and a large number of Twitter handles concerning allegations of Bihari migrant workers facing attacks in Chennai and other parts of Tamil Nadu. The police have in fact said that these are false and fake, and have also booked a couple of journalists belonging to news organizations like Dainik Bhaskar and Op India. This includes Op India's CEO Rahul Roshan and Editor-in-Chief Nupur J. Sharma. In fact, a statement from Chief Minister M.K. Stalin said incidents unrelated to Tamil Nadu are being passed off as having occurred in the state, even warning of legal action against perpetrators of such fake content. Director General of Police Sailendra Babu also issued a statement saying that facts were twisted to appear as if Bihari workers were being attacked in Tamil Nadu, when in fact this was not the case. Incidentally, the videos in question seem to portray attacks happening on individuals that several fact-checkers and fact-checking websites, including Alt News, have now proved did not in fact happen in Tamil Nadu. In fact, a statement issued by the South India Mills Association and the Confederation of Indian Textile Industry, which employs a large number of migrant workers, said, and I quote, "No clash between migrant workers and local workers have in fact taken place. The circulation of WhatsApp news is in fact false and does not portray the real situation on the ground."
Moving on, BJP's Manik Saha took oath as the Chief Minister of Tripura for the second time. Saha had replaced Biplab Dev in May last year, barely 8 months ahead of state elections. The BJP went past the majority mark, securing 32 seats. Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Home Minister Amit Shah were also present at the oath-taking ceremony in Agartala. The Enforcement Directorate has summoned K. Kavita, Telangana's ruling party MLC and daughter of Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao, in connection with the Delhi liquor case. Kavita hit back at the BJP and said that intimidation tactics won't deter her. Indian Navy's Dhruv chopper made an emergency landing off the Mumbai coast. The incident occurred when the Advanced Light helicopter was on a routine flying mission. 3 crew members have been rescued and are being medically examined. Indian Navy has said that it has ordered an inquiry into the incident. A Russian mercenary group called Wagner, which is fighting in Ukraine, is claiming a key victory. The Wagner group claims to have taken control of the eastern parts of the city of Bakhmut. The city is in the Donbas region, and Vladimir Putin's stated objective is to take control of the entire region. Russian forces have laid siege to Bakhmut for the last many days, but Ukrainian forces are not giving up without a fight. Ukraine's President Zelensky said the Russian army would have an open road into Ukraine if it captured Bakhmut. Moving on, Lieutenant Commander Ruchika Bhadana has a high-stress job, one where she holds the life of helicopter pilots and passengers in her hands. Now stationed with the Air Traffic Control Unit of the Indian Navy's INS Shikra heliport, this 32-year-old naval officer is living her dream. On the occasion of International Women's Day and as part of our latest initiative, Future Female Forward, a women's collective, CNBC-TV18 Santiagora brings you Lieutenant Commander Bhadana's story.
482 Spartan. 405 Radio 5. How do you read?
Directing air traffic is not easy. It takes intense concentration, clarity of thought, quick thinking, and the ability to stay calm under pressure. But Lieutenant Commander Ruchika Bhadana, a third-generation Indian naval officer, posted at the Air Traffic Control Unit of the Indian Navy's heliport INS Shikra in Mumbai, makes it look easy.
I am a naval kid, and since the childhood, I was very clear that I want to don the white uniform like my father. I got commissioned in the Air Traffic Control Cadre of the Indian Navy in July 2011, underwent my basic naval orientation at the Indian Naval Academy at Adimala, followed by ATC professional training at the Air Force Academy, Dundigal. I had the opportunity to undergo a skydiving course, and I was also the team leader for the Inter-Command Weapon Firing Team. 307 report.
Lieutenant Commander Bhadana's role is not limited to military helicopters. She's also in charge of civilian helicopters that fly across her airspace in southern Mumbai.
Bravo by November 6.
And she loves every minute of it.
Okay. INS Shikra is the only heliport of the Indian Navy, and we operate various helicopters like the Chetaks, the ALH, Kamov and Sea Kings. And we provide air traffic services to them while they are flying in the local flying area or for any operational commitment of the Western Fleet or the Western Naval Command. And we provide them with the air traffic services while they are flying for any training mission or operational commitment of the Western Fleet or the Western Naval Command. In addition, we also provide air traffic services to the civil helicopters who are transiting through our local flying area while they are transiting towards Pune or Mahabaleshwar. Time sync किया हुआ है इसमें? हमारे पास कितने cards हैं सर? हमारे पास
The job keeps her on her toes and is full of challenges. She recalls one such incident when she had to direct choppers into a safe landing while Cyclone Taute raged along India's western coastal line in May 2021, a cyclone that claimed over 100 lives.
When Cyclone Taute hit the Maharashtra coast, it had been raining very heavily that night. And when we had received the information that we have to launch our helicopters for the air rescue effort, I was one of the duty controllers. We had to ensure that the dispersal is ready for the flying operations. There should be no mud, muck or water on the dispersal. But considering the situation, our aircraft had got airborne in this rough and unpredictable weather, and we could save many lives during that time. And as a controller, it was my job to ensure safe flying environment for them when they were in air. And it is challenging indeed, but gratifying at the same time.
While she drew early inspiration from her father, Commander KBS Bhadana, she says she continues to find inspiration every day from every woman who is challenging the status quo and making a name for herself in every field.
I believe all women who are serving the nation, be it in any capacity, are great role models. They are challenging the status quo every day and are contributing significantly towards the nation's development. They are all beacons which all women can look up to.
Lieutenant Commander Ruchika Bhadana has dedicated her life to our nation, playing a crucial role in the defense operations of our country. She is keeping our seas and our skies safe. She is determined, she is focused, she is alert, she is brave. She is the future. And we at CNBC-TV18 thank Lieutenant Commander Ruchika Bhadana for her service. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
And on the 14th of March, CNBC-TV18 will host what will be India's largest summit on gender parity in Delhi. Women leaders from all walks of life will come together to brainstorm and ensure we take decisive steps to bridge the gender inequality. The event starts at 4:30 p.m. on the 14th of March, and we'll bring you live coverage right here on CNBC-TV18. And with that, it's a wrap on this edition of India Business Hour. Thank you for watching. News continues on the other side. Stay tuned.